Hi friends, my name is Vanessa Fernandez and I'm the founder of the Enneagram Workshop. And here we are in the middle of a series on the defense mechanisms of each type and how that might be affecting your inner work. When I say inner work, I mean the work that you might be embarking on to transform. And transformation does not mean that there's anything wrong with you now. All it means is that because our essential nature as living, breathing things is that we are never stagnant. We are always evolving and changing and growing, bringing in new information, letting go of old ideas, expanding, gaining new skills, new perspectives, and new experiences. So there is no living without transforming, but inner work is the taking command of and taking agency over that transformation so that it transforms in a way that you want to transform. I think of it often like a garden. Things are going to grow whether you plant them or not. I'm looking out of my window at a ton of random things that have just grown because that is how the earth works. And a garden is a place where things grow because you chose to plant certain things. And maybe there's still a few errant seeds that pop into your garden from birds and squirrels and what have you. But there is some sort of agency, decision, creativity, design behind the growing and thriving of your garden. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to inner work, taking agency over our transformation, our flourishing, and our thriving. And in the video for type 1, I do a little context setting where I talk about what I mean by defense mechanisms and my approach to working with them. So I encourage you, if you haven't already watched it, to go back to the video for type 1s and take a look at that so you get a little context, because we're going to dive straight into type 9 today. And we're going to talk about the defense mechanism of narcotization, or becoming numb to life externally. Yes, certainly, but more so becoming numb to your own inner experience of yourself. And this is what 9s do, as all the types do, in order to keep the image of themselves that they feel like they need to be and embody in order to be safe or belong. For type 9s, that image is an image of one who is peaceful, one who keeps the peace, one who has harmony. And so how can I be harmonious and peaceful if there are chaotic thoughts, if there is anger, if there is conflict, if there is duality? How can I maintain peace and just serenity? And so what the 9 does in order to retain that sort of experience of themselves that they want to retain is numb anything that goes too high or anything that goes too low. They want to stay in this sort of middle homeostasis, not too hot, not too cold, just right kind of environment. And so they simply numb. They find different ways of numbing. And some of the ways that they numb is actually by working a lot. 9s can get an unfair stereotype of being lazy or slothful. That is not my experience of 9s. In fact, a lot of 9s use work to numb and are very busy, but they are busy staying away from themselves. They are busy staying away from their own inner experience. And so what this does for 9s, though, how can you do the inner work of transformation? How can you take agency over your own thriving and formation if you are numbing entire parts of yourself and your experience? That becomes really tricky. And the thing with these defense mechanisms is that they're subconscious. So we're not always aware that we're doing them. And in fact, especially for 9s, there's so much that you are not aware of within you. And that's okay. That's how you kept yourself safe. But of course, that is going to play a big part as we're trying to pull up an awareness of how you numb. You may even be wanting to numb the awareness of how much you numb. And we're just going to let that happen and try and stay present and try and support the nervous system through the way that it freaks out when it starts realizing I'm being looked at. I'm being paid attention to. My defense mechanisms being called out. I'm no longer hiding in a corner, but I'm having a spotlight shine on me. And that can feel uncomfortable. Things might want to shut down. Things might want to come in. Things might want to fall away. And so one of the ways that I encourage you to stay present if you are a type 9 is to try and find safe environments and safe ways to communicate to your body that you're not going to die if you allow yourself to look at the inner workings of what's going on, right? And I say you're not going to die because our nervous systems only have sort of two modes. I'm going to die, I'm safe, I'm good. It kind of just pings between these two spaces. And so whenever our nervous system starts freaking out, the first place it goes is, this is unsafe. I must stay safe or I'm going to die. And our nervous system resides in the body. There's no way that we can verbally, mentally talk the body out of what it's feeling. The only way you can communicate to the body is through the felt sense. So supporting your body, supporting your nervous system can be as simple as placing your hand on your heart or your chest. Taking in breath, holding yourself, wrapping yourself up in a tight blanket, stroking your cheeks. Anything that you would do to communicate to a non-verbal creature, whether it's a baby or whether it's an animal, that says, I'm here and you are safe. A soft voice, a soft touch. Things that communicate to the body when words are not enough. I'm here and you're safe. Take a breath. Yes, we're going to look at how you numb. And yes, you're going to want to numb that inquiry process because it doesn't always feel safe or it hasn't always been safe for you to look at that. But I'm here. What if we just looked at it for a minute? And then you can go back to whatever else you want to do. What if we just looked at it for 2 minutes? What if we just slowly expanded our capacity to be with what is here rather than to turn away from it? Because that's the heartbreak for 9s, right? Do I matter? And does anyone see me? Do you see you? Do you matter to you enough to stay present to you? Or are you looking away from yourself the minute you get a chance? Are you ejecting from your own experience of yourself the minute it feels like it might move out of that homeostasis, the minute it feels like there might be grief, the minute it feels like there might be joy, the minute it feels like there might be anger? If every time one of my children, I know I'm bringing my children in again because I always do, if every time one of my children expressed a strong emotion, I abandoned them, I ejected myself from their presence, that would communicate to them, emotions are not okay. Emotions will get you abandoned. Emotions must be done away with if you want any kind of connection or attention or love or attunement. And so the question, 9s, for you is, are you communicating that to yourself every time you turn away from any of those big emotions? You are breaking trust with your own inner soul, your own inner child, your own inner experience. You're violating and fragmenting the love and care and nurturance that your own soul is crying out for. This is how narcotization creates so much pain. And the more pain it creates, the more the 9 wants to avoid being present to that pain. The only way out is through. And the only way through is by somatically supporting your body as you hit some of these big emotions, as you hit some of the highs and some of the lows. Our nervous systems have to expand slowly. Take your time, but don't turn away. So here's a question that I would ask you. We were doing a one-on-one session and we were talking about this. I would ask you, what is in your belly right now? What do you feel in your belly? Is it burning? Is it empty? Is it solid? Is it buzzing and gurgling and moving? What's in your belly right now? And what are you dancing around the edge of and disconnecting from? And we can be on the edge. That's okay. I'm just curious, what is it that you're on the edge of? What is it that you're wanting to disconnect from? What is it that feels like if you touch it, you might get pulled in? So let's just stay a safe distance away. And what kind of transformation might you find if you stayed with it just a bit longer? If you supported yourself just a bit and allowed yourself to be present to who you really are. And who knows, maybe you might find that you actually love that person. And maybe that might be the connection and love and attunement that your inner child is longing for. This is the work. This is the inner work for the type 9. And narcotization can come so easily and just slide in, numb everything like a blanket, and keep you from really touching into those deep parts. All right, that concludes our series on defense mechanisms. If this is inner work that is intriguing to you, if you resonate with any of this, but you're not quite sure how to start, I am taking new clients at this time. I would love to have you reach out to me and explore if working with a coach, if having someone to support you through some of that somatic work, through some of that nervous system regulation, and through some of the ways that narcotization keeps you from what you're actually longing for, fragments you from yourself. Feel free to reach out. I don't bite. I would love to talk with you and help facilitate a growth path for you, help you along this transformative journey with the deepest respect and compassion that I have. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that all that is within you becomes more seen, expressed, loved on, and nurtured.